The Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Are you looking to value your equipment more accurately, target the right buyers and close more deals, reach your ideal customer? Then look no further. Fusible isn't just about ag data, it's about action. Our best-in-class solution empowers you to value your equipment accurately, make informed decisions, and find the perfect prospects. Ignite your dealership's growth at fusible.com/movingiron-podcast. Out in the field, every decision counts. You wouldn't plant without testing your soil, so why would you prospect blind? Introducing EDA, your one-stop shop for ag equipment intel. EDA goes beyond specs and prices. You get deep dive data on every piece of equipment like UCC filings that help track ownership changes and uncover potential sales leads. D&B firmographics, which help you understand the financial health and buying power of potential customers. Market trends that help you stay ahead of the curve, and insights on equipment demands and pricings. With EDA, you're not just looking at data, you're seeing opportunity. You find the right buyer, sell smarter, and build lasting relationships. Visit edadata.com for your free demo and unlock the power of knowledge. For over 80 years, Iron Solutions has been your go-to data source for ag dealers, lenders, and manufacturers. Get powerful appraisal and value forecasting tools that fuel profitable decisions anytime, anywhere. Get your free demo at ironsolutions.com. Iron Solutions, confidence in every click. Today, there are many ways to finance ag equipment, but nobody delivers simple, fast, or flexible financing like AgDirect. Learn more about your options to buy, lease, and refinance equipment at agdirect.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello, welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. I've got Caleb Phillips here from Fusible to talk about what's going on the digital side of the marketplace. We've had the Iron Solution sides on here quite a bit, talking about equipment trends, what we see happen in the market. We've got the EDA side of Fusible, where we're talking a lot about what's going on in the marketplace as far as customer buying habits and how customers are coming to the table. But Fusible has a whole other division that really focuses on the digital side of the business and getting people to come to your website and come be part of what you have going on at your business. So, Caleb, appreciate you being on the podcast, man. Welcome to Moving Iron Podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Great to be here.
Right on, man. So let's talk a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you're at.
Sure. So my name is Caleb Phillips. I am one of the digital strategy managers specifically for the agriculture and construction sector inside of Fusible. So really what that means is I'm kind of developing strategy, implementing strategy with large OEMs as well as down to dealer levels, as well as aftermarket companies in that ag space as well as construction space.
Right on. Okay. So I think when I think of Fusible, obviously, because where my touch points are and from a dealership perspective has always been on the Iron Solution sides and always been in the EDA side. But talk a little bit about what Fusible is doing on the digital side to help dealerships grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of all intertwined. It's all got its own ecosystem, but we really lean heavily on our first party data that you're kind of gathering from within EDA, right? So you know a lot about EDA and that platform. Really, the kind of short and sweet version is we're taking that audience that we all know and we all trust, and we understand how rich that data is. And then Fusible is on the behalf of all of our large to small to medium dealerships, going out and approaching and advertising to those prospective buyers in a digital format. So whether that be Facebook or Google or connected television, you name it, we're kind of layering in that first party data, that first party audience, and then approaching them online.
Right on. So I think the cool thing about online platforms today is more than anything is that's where everybody lives, right? You can't avoid it. It's almost weird if you don't have some kind of social media that you're doing. People are more concerned about you if you don't have social media than if you do. And as you're looking through the process of going through that, how do you start the process with a customer and say, hey, there's just some of the ideas we can have? How do you start going down that path with a customer that may not be, an SEO rich environment on their website and those kind of things? Like, how do you start going down that path?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest thing for us, and this should be for anyone who's using a vendor or an agency of some fashion for digital marketing, is just trying to understand what they're trying to accomplish at the dealership level, right? A lot of people will say, or a lot of times conversations when I ask that question, what are we actually looking to accomplish? It ends with leads. We want leads. We want as many leads as we can. Impressions or making sure that someone sees your ad doesn't necessarily keep the lights on, but it is a really important part of that buyer journey. You have to feed the top of the hopper before you're kind of going to have something turn into an actual qualified lead. So the biggest thing is having some sort of strategy session where we kind of get to know the business, get to know our point of contact as well, understand what's important for the dealership, and then moving on from there, kind of figuring out how we can fit our system at Fusible and how we can fit our data and our offering into some sort of picture to reach those results that they're looking for. So that's really step one. From there, there's a lot of back and forth in regards to from our client to our team here at Fusible. We have a lot of different sets of hands and sets of ears that are kind of listening in and hands on keys to make sure that we're able to get to those results.
Yeah. So how do you go down the process? This is one thing I've never got my head wrapped around. So I'm kind of a big dumb animal here, so bear with me. But when you're looking at getting in touch with people, and I'm an equipment dealership in you name it, USA. How are you going about trying to find the people that are actually going to turn the crank for me, right? The people that are going to come to my website and want to buy something from me. How do you go about figuring out who that is and then targeting those people?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, of course, we have our expertise and we have lots and lots of data that's kind of compiled into EDA, but also something that a lot of our clients don't know or aren't aware of until we mention it is we do connectivity studies with our clients or with our clients' prospects, right? So we have lots of different media brands such as Total Landscape Care, which would be a little bit more for the landscapers, but you also have for the X-based, equipment world. So we interview those audiences to understand what are you looking to, when you're on social media or when you're consuming media in general, what are you looking for? We're also asking, who are you? Are you a decision maker? What's your title? Maybe how large is your fleet that you have under your ownership, right? So we ask a whole lot of different questions to really better understand our audience and better understand how it is that we can approach them. The last thing that we want to do is them telling us we want to see video ads and we want to see walkarounds of the newest utility tractor. And then and then next thing we're not actually doing that. We're sending a video of something that's completely, a 180 of a walkaround. So we get those kind of insights, and that helps us get to a better understanding of how the audience is actually going to consume that. But the number one spot that we like to start with is not necessarily our first party data, but we want to dive into the CRM of the dealer that we're working with. Understand who has already converted. Right, that's a really rich spot of data that most all dealers should have, or if they don't have it, they at least should. understanding and analyzing your buyers. So that's step one, but then we have our expertise. We've been doing this for a few years. So we understand, what pieces of equipment are correlated, and then kind of going back into EDA to understand, okay, utility tractors, as well as wheel loaders, as well as maybe mini excavators. Those are all correlated in some fashion. So that way we can get to a proper audience for whatever that dealership's looking to achieve.
Yeah. So that was my next question that you just brought up there was, where does my data fit in, and how important is that data when you guys are going through your overall synopsis of what it is? I mean, because you have different levels of data, right? You have the data like the people that do business with you all the time. You got the sometimes does business with you, and then you have the people you're trying to convert, right? As you're looking through that data, how are you weighing that data, and where does that come into play in your overall kind of blueprint of starting going on the digital path?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? Everyone's at different stages. So in the marketing world, we have all sorts of different jargon and lingo, but most everyone's familiar with a sales funnel, right? And so right. Our job as the marketer on our client's behalf is really to try to take them from either at the very top of the funnel, or maybe even they're not even on the funnel quite yet, and try to produce as much funnel velocity, driving them down that pipeline from being aware of the business or aware of the offering to maybe considering that business and then deciding to choose that business, right? So everyone's data, everyone's at a different point, like you said. So maybe they're in buying mode. We have data to kind of back that and be able to support and forecast for that, understanding what that company or that prospect's buying cycle might be. So although you haven't financed any kind of piece of equipment in the last 12 months, but we also are going back years prior to understand your buying cycle. So everyone's a little bit different. Everyone does have a place when it comes to the data that we're pulling from within EDA. And it all tells us various things, such as, swayability going from New Holland to a competitor, or going from, John Deere to a competitor, right? How swayable is this person? Well, if their fleet is 99% John Deere and you're not John Deere, you might want to be able to say something of why your business or why your brand is better than John Deere, right? So having that level of granularity when it comes to our audience and knowing who we're targeting versus, just targeting the state of Ohio or the state of, Georgia, that makes a huge difference with how intentional you're able to be with your messaging. So everyone's layer of data has, a lot of value when it comes to a digital marketing campaign.
Yep. So one thing that I've, obviously noticed, there's dealership sizes are growing. They're getting bigger and bigger by the day. And I think loader tractors is one of those segments that you can easily point at and say, hey, from one end of the territory to the other end of the territory, those loader tractors have a vastly different need or want, and a vastly different available specs, right? That has a big thing to do with that. When you're working with some of your clients that are really spread out across a bigger geographical area, how are you going about taking a look at, for example, hey, on the east side of our territory, loader tractors are more used for just, basically basic chore tractors around the farm, those kind of things. And then the west side, they're more in a feedlot style operation. There's a lot more cattle production and those kind of things out there. When you're looking at those two different dynamics, how do you go about building a program for that? And what kind of steps do you take to build something like that?
Yeah, no, that's another good question. So kind of similar to going back to, well, what's worked in the past. Mm-hmm. We do track and measure exactly what we're doing with our campaigns, right? As feasible for digital marketing and as well as really EDA, we work with inside of three main verticals. So it's construction equipment, agricultural equipment, and then also trucking, right? So it kind of keeps us all, within the market. We're very, eat, breathe, sleep, construction, eat, breathe, sleep, ag, and as well as trucking. So with that being said, we're kind of going back similar to like a CRM. So we keep track of all this data. We have benchmarks that we're kind of able to pull down and drill into and say, okay, this campaign that we ran for the Northeast region, same utility tractor. However, the Southwest is completely completely different. They don't care about the same promotion, right? So we're paying attention to what kind of audience that we're uploading. We're also paying attention to what kind of offering that dealership might have. And then also, additionally, we're kind of paying attention to brand and then industry as well. So all of those things really tell us what we can expect in results. And so we're able to be pretty transparent with our clients or someone that we might be having a strategy session with. And that helps us be able to kind of paint a picture of what they can expect after, when it's all said and done, and what kind of return on investment they can get. So having that information is great for us from a digital aspect. But again, a dealership, it's a huge, between us and the dealer, it's a huge relationship and a lot of conversation that goes back and forth. They're going to understand what mailers people are responding to. They're going to understand what people are looking into for promotions. They're also going to understand their equipment and what they sell out of quick and what they can't turn nearly as quick. So it's a lot of conversation back and forth, and that's what's unique about digital marketing is we can all try to be selling the same piece of equipment, maybe at the same promotion, maybe even the same brand, but it's going to fluctuate depending on market as you kind of scatter throughout the U.S.
Yeah. So on the same flip side of that, you have, we talked about dealers getting bigger. You're also seeing farming operations get bigger, cattle operations get bigger. They might not necessarily get bigger in the footprint where they're at, but they may move an operation to a different state or something like that and open up a site there where they're either farming or ranching or whatever they're doing. So that's a new customer coming in there that hasn't been there before. I know EDA does a really good job of saying, hey, this customer's never bought in your area before, or this customer is new to the area type of thing. You have a kind of alert around that. But from a digital coverage, digital kind of footprint, how can I cast that net out there to make sure that, hey, the new person coming into the area knows about, ABC implement? How do you go about making sure that happens?
Yeah, absolutely. So we focus on zero sale counties all the time. So that's kind of the lingo that we use internally to just say, this person's never bought in this county, right? I can tell you off the top of my head, we've probably got about 5 or 6 that I'm closely attached to that I know that are currently running, and it's a tough feat. But the good part about it is we're able to drill down by that and understand that they haven't bought inside of this area before. And then go after them. But going back to kind of understanding your audience and knowing what their makeup is, when we're providing EDA to our subscribers, it's huge because they can avoid going out to the farm to understand, okay, well, they have this many combines, they got this many planters, this many sprayers, right? They don't really need to leave their seat in order to figure that out. So when they do go out, they can be a little bit more productive rather than, hey, just, show me around.
Right.
Every single piece of equipment that you guys own on the farm. So that helps there, but it also helps on the digital front with going back to messaging. On average, you're going to have about 3 seconds maximum if they haven't already scrolled past your ad, right? So you've got to capture their attention. So that's going to be, really important that you have good creative or good imagery. That's why video works so well, is because it's more intriguing than a static image. And then also you're going to need to make sure that your message actually makes sense. If you're wanting to talk about trade-in promotions for excavators, say a certain brand, a certain model, it's for a mini excavator, or it's for a utility tractor, certain model, certain year. It's really nice to be able to be confident in saying, well, I know that everyone that is inside this audience set has that piece of equipment.
Right.
So I'm not going to send this out to someone who's a stay-at-home parent that doesn't have anything to do with agriculture. They just happen to be inside the region that I'm trying to advertise to. Right. So, and not to say that if you don't use first-party data, you're going to avoid that, but it really does feel quite nice when you're able to say, I know this is getting in front of John Smith at ABC Farms. Right. So, yeah.
When you take a look at 2024, did anything pop out at you at 24 that worked better than other things that worked maybe in the previous years?
Yeah, I think 2024 was interesting. I think there was a lot of concern about what was going on with the market. There was a huge shift in the economy, and we're all aware of that. However, really, as far as financing data those trends didn't really change too much. I talked earlier about connectivity studies and how we interview those different media brands that we own to better understand what they're thinking, how they're operating. It's not just for social media usage and media consumption in general, but they really didn't plan on renting more. They really didn't plan on buying more. Everyone was kind of just going business as usual. And we felt that on the digital front. So as far as, campaign types or specifics that you were to point out and say, did this platform work better than this? The big thing about these platforms is, are they able to, how much information can you feed it, right? Or are you at the mercy of saying, okay, I have to advertise in these counties. I have to advertise in this state. I don't really have the chance to drill down on my audience and refine it. So we did see a lot of good success introducing Google Performance Max. It was in beta for a few years, but what that allows you to do from a marketing standpoint is upload that first party data, upload that first party audience into all of Google properties, and then kind of meet your audience where they're at. You're no longer marrying YouTube for $5,000 a month. You're no longer marrying Google search for $5,000 a month, and each of them having their own buckets. You get all of the Google properties, and you kind of are just following that audience member or that prospect around as they're consuming media. So if they flicker from YouTube to then a display network, or they flicker from YouTube over to shopping, or YouTube over to Google search, you're going to be able to meet that audience, your audience that you're looking to get in front of. So we saw a lot of good success with that, driving lots of cost per leads down. So that was a really good asset for 2024.
Yep. All right. Last thing I want to ask you about. The 10,000 pound gorilla in the room here. You got this, 2025 coming around, and it feels like AI is no longer a toy anymore. It's becoming a bigger part of our life, whether you're looking at, Apple Intelligence, or you're looking at ChatGPT or Gronk, or in the Twitter or the X world. You got all these things coming into play. More and more people are using AI. I think I get about 1 billion AI phone calls a day from some telemarketer somewhere. So as you're looking at how AI plays into what you see happening moving forward, what are your thoughts there, and how do you think that plays into what the digital marketing space is going to look like?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting, and we use it ourselves at Feasible. We've been using it, right? So a lot of these platforms that you might be running ads through, they already have AI built in. It's only getting really better at this point. I think, there's a lot of different platforms out there that you can use to say, okay, create a video about this. And some of it still looks very, very AI-like and very generated. But some of them are scary good. And they look very real. So, if you saw that on a quick, you saw that on your TV scrolling across, or you saw that on a YouTube ad, you probably wouldn't think twice about it. So it's really, really improving. One thing I would say is, when generating, a lot of times people are generating it for hopefully ideas, and that's really where it should stay, is to get those ideas. Proofread, make sure that it makes sense. AI isn't perfect. I think there's all sorts of disclaimers all over, ChatGPT and then Google's, Gemini and Apple Intelligence. Just do your due diligence, make sure that it actually makes sense. Your audience, your industry best, and your product best too. But it's a good spot to kind of stem some ideas from. So.
Sure. Yeah. It's I use ChatGPT a lot for just doing some research stuff, and it's pretty good about bringing back accurate information and accurate sources and those kind of things. But every once in a while, I'll throw something in there that makes no sense how it got where it's, keyword searches and those kind of things kind of drive all that. So it's very, very interesting to see how those play out. So, Caleb, man, any final thoughts you want to tell anybody before we close down the podcast?
No, I appreciate you having me on. I'm hoping to be able to attend next year as well. I was there this year. If anyone had kind of come into one of our sessions, I know we had a large amount of different breakouts that we ran at Feasible, but looking forward to 2025 and what that looks like.
Right on. If folks want to reach out to you, Caleb, what's the easiest way to do that?
Probably through my email. So it's Caleb Phillips at Feasible. So KALEB Phillips, Phillips, at fusible.com.
Right on. Caleb, appreciate you being the podcast, man. We'll catch you again next time.
All right. Thanks, Casey.
Right on. I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC, LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast. Go to the Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel, which is the video version of this. You can watch there. You can also go to movingironllc.com for everything Moving Iron related, and also on TikTok at Moving Iron Podcast. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Caleb Phillips. Let's go move some iron, folks. Out. The Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Are you looking to value your equipment more accurately? Target the right buyers and close more deals? Reach your ideal customer? Then look no further. Fusible isn't just about ag data, it's about action. Our best-in-class solution empowers you to value your equipment accurately, make informed decisions, and find the perfect prospects. Ignite your dealership's growth at fusible.com/movingiron-podcast. Out in the field, every decision counts. You wouldn't plant without testing your soil, so why would you prospect blind? Introducing EDA, your one-stop shop for ag equipment intel. EDA goes beyond specs and prices. You get deep dive data on every piece of equipment like UCC filings that help track ownership changes and uncover potential sales leads. D&B firmographics, which help you understand the financial health and buying power of potential customers. Market trends that help you stay ahead of the curve, and insights on equipment demands and pricings. With EDA, you're not just looking at data, you're seeing opportunity. Find the right buyer, sell smarter, and build lasting relationships. Visit edadata.com for your free demo and unlock the power of knowledge. For over 80 years, Iron Solutions has been your go-to data source for ag dealers, lenders, and manufacturers. Get powerful appraisal and value forecasting tools that fuel profitable decisions anytime, anywhere. Get your free demo at ironsolutions.com. Iron Solutions, confidence in every click. Today, there are many ways to finance ag equipment, but nobody delivers simple, fast, or flexible financing like AgDirect. Learn more about your options to buy, lease, and refinance equipment at agdirect.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.